A little over 8 weeks ago, I bought this Cooper JCW R56 from Copart as a non-runner. I'm about to reveal the price that I paid for it for the first time. But if I can get this back on the road for another 1500 quid, a figure and quids in. In the last video, the highlight was getting the pistons back in, and now we're straight back into the action with the high pressure fuel pump first. So you can see where it steps out on the vacuum pump, and that has to go in there in the camshaft. See how it lines up? That's the vacuum pump in. We're now onto the fuel rail in the injectors. After a little oil around the ends of the injectors, they're now seated. The high pressure fuel line is next. I had forgotten to put this little piece on, so that is now on, and the cylinder head is ready to go back on the car. The rocker cover had gasket sealant all over it, so that's getting taken out, plus new seals everywhere. I'm now prepping the cylinder head ready for install. So, straight on with that. There we go, that's the head gasket installed. And with this being the first time that I've ever rebuilt an engine, this is now a big moment. The cylinder head's going back on. That's it. We're on. That is a major moment. Whew. That's looking so good. Look at that, we're starting to get a bit of an engine. With the cylinder head now back on, it's time for the head bolts. Quick lube with them, and then we're on to tighten. This is E12. On that piece of card in front of me, I've got the torque sequence for all the bolts. And the first pass, as you just heard, was 30 Newton meters. Then it's 90 degrees on each bolt in the same sequence, and then 90 degrees again. And the last one of the sequence. And that's it, done. Right, okay, we've just got these two bolts and that bolt's put in. Two left bolts have already done, and this is the final bolt. Torque to sequence. So the cylinder head is on. So it's time for the timing chain. Let's get that on. It has little tabs on the hole, and this has a little ring to it. They must slide behind there. Timing chain and guides are now ready to go back in. At this point, I've got the crank bolt tool attached to the crank housing for the crank pulley. So that's going back in. Then the crank bolt goes back in, and we can get them sprockets all lined up. Push it on. Yeah, that holds that. Crank bolt goes in. Now on these engines, on this part here, it has three flat sides. One has to reach the top with the two flats down the bottom, and then it has a sort of half circle side that should be on the bottom. Also, the way to know is that has numbers on there, you can see them, numbers on the top there as well. After watching all videos of this one, I took it off because I thought it was strange that the timing tools wouldn't go on properly. The timing was actually out by 180 degrees, so at least this time I know it's back in the right place. Now fitting the exhaust cam sprocket and the Vana sprocket next. Right, so now that we have it tight on the exhaust side, got a bit slack over this side. When the tensioner goes in, that should tension it. And then we have the timing chain guide for the top. So 2 bolts, 8mm. Let's see. The timing chain guide pins are next, 2 down there, 1 up the top. The timing chain tensioner is the next. We'll get that in, we'll get the chain tensioned just down here. So this is where the tensioner will go afterwards. That's in, and then we'll tighten this in. This will push against the chain, but it does need some tension on it. The exhaust cam sprocket first, and then the intake banner sprocket. And the crankshaft bolt is last. With all those bolts now torqued, it's time for the tensioner to go in, and that gets torqued to 55 Newton meters. Tensioner in. Well, let's hope I've got this right. So this is it. The moment I've most and least been looking forward to. The timing's all done. Everything's in place. Now I have to take the flywheel lock out and the timing gear off, spin that crank twice, and hopefully I'm able to put that timing tool back on in exactly that place. Otherwise, I've not done it right. And as this is the first time I've ever done this, I'm hoping it goes well. I marked on the side of the crank to give me a guide as to where to start. Finish was. Fingers crossed. Right, first off. Right, that's out. With the flywheel lock now out, it's time to take off the timing tools. So we're going to give this 2 turns. That's 1. Again. And we're coming back up to the line. Now if this tool goes back on again, then I think we're in a good shape. Okay, well it sits flush. I think I've done it. I think I've done it. That looks to be timed to perfection. Looks like it's timed to perfection. Buzzing. Do you know what we didn't try and put in? The flywheel lock. However, that's back round there again now. That's been spun round 3 or 4 times. That goes on there. That goes on there. Perfect. It's sliding on. That is easy. If this just drops in here now, it means it's back in exactly the right place. Yes. Right, I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing. That is all timed up. Looking perfect. Look at that. New head gasket on, cylinder heads back on, new timing chain on, alternators on there, the AC compressor's on, the oil filter housing, that's on there. That is sick. So the timing chain's on, the cylinder head's on. Everything looks like it's timed really good. In the next video, I'll be getting all the water pipes back on, the electrics plugged in, getting this ready for its first start. If you've enjoyed watching this video, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. I was in.